Hi everyone, this is week 25 of the 52-week project, Natural Light. This is an image of my niece Sarah. She loves getting her picture taken. She's doing all sorts of crazy poses for me the other day. So I snapped this shot, and I kind of liked it. Even though I missed the focus on it, the focus is actually on her hair. I still like the image, so I figured I'll just use this one. The first thing I wanted to do is pull some of the contrast out of it. It's good right there. If you notice, I usually go down in order here. I don't typically work that way. I just play around with the image. Usually I'll start with the exposure and see where it goes, but the exposure seemed to be pretty good with the image. But I had done this previously, so I'm just going down the line with my settings, trying to speed up these videos a little bit. So next thing I want to do is try and get rid of these highlights here, and maybe a little bit over here. They're a little bright, so I'm just going to bring the highlight slider down. As you can see, that gets a little bit lighter, a little darker I should say there. It's not so prominent in the image anymore. And next thing is to raise these shadows up. Right around there. Just brought up some of the shadows in her hair. And I think the overall image was a little bit on the dull side, so I kind of brought up the white points a little bit. Right around there. You see it kind of altered the colors on it. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to bring the blacks down a little bit. Not too much though. And I want to boost the clarity up. It's going to give it a little stylized look. I don't want to go too much with this because you can see it gets like really weird looking there. No clarity, and that removes all the edges there. I'm going to leave it right around there. And I want the shirt to be pretty colorful because it is a colorful shirt, but I don't want it to take over the image. So I'm going to pull the vibrance down to around 18 or so. And you see that dull down the image a bit. The shirt's a little dull. So to compensate for that, I'm going to bring the saturation up. And I'm not going to go too high with it, just enough that it brings up the shirt a bit and you get some of the tones back in her skin. See a little preview of what it was before and to what it is now. And that's all I did in here. So I'm going to open this up into Photoshop and I'm going to do a little work in there. The first thing I want to do is bring out her eyes. Her eyes are dark. They're a brown color. So I'm going to start by giving a curves adjustment layer here. And I'm not going to do anything in it. I'm just going to set it to screen. And automatically you see it turns the image a lot brighter. I'm going to invert the mask on here, and it goes back to normal there. And then I'm going to zoom in, holding down the Z key, clicking and zooming into her eye here. And I'm going to get a brush, and you know what, maybe I'll move it down, maybe 40%, and shrink the brush down a bit. And I'm just going to paint with white. I'm actually set to black now. Actually, this isn't even white here. This is 190%. I'm just going to go to white, and since I have the opacity down, it should be roughly the same. I'm just going to bring out the I'm sorry, just paint on there a little bit, oops, to lighten up the eyes. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but as you can see there, it brings out her eyes a bit. See what that does there. And the other thing, she's got this little cut here on her nose. I'm going to zoom back in again there. And got a little cut there, so I'm going to get rid of that. And this bright patch of, it's actually a hair, but the way the light is hitting it, it kind of illuminated it there, so it bothers me a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of that as well. I'm going to start by creating a new blank layer. And you can do that by clicking the layer icon, or going up to the layer menu and hitting new and layer. Okay. Go in and use the spot healing brush, and I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger, the brush here, and making sure that I have all layers sampled is checked and content aware is on. And I'm just going to paint right over it, and that did a great job. And same thing with the hairs here. I'm going to go across this way. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because if you see there's a dark area in here. If I were to just draw a line there, it would try and blend it with all the areas that are touching, and you would actually see the line. So I'm trying to keep it in areas that it can sample from. And I'm going to zoom back out, and I think it did a pretty good job. Okay, now she has this dark area by her eye here. I kind of want to just even that out a little bit, make it look a little more flesh toned. She just has a darker area around her eye. It's not that she had a black eye or anything. It could be partially the lighting as well, but I'm just going to clean that up a little bit there. So I'm going to start out by merging all these layers into one. So if merging visible, it's Control Shift Alt and E, which will stamp it onto its own blank layer. Then I'm going to go to the brush tool, and I'm going to change the blending mode for the brush to color, and I want to sample a color maybe from in here. Let's see, that might be a little bit too saturated. Let's see, 35% saturation, and I'll make it a bit brighter, say 60. And we'll try that. We'll see how that works. And now on this layer that we merged together, I'm going to lower the opacity of the brush so we can just make a few passes at it, making sure that we have a soft brush. The hardness is all the way down to 0, so it's a soft brush. And I'm just going to paint right over that area. And I use a low opacity, so this way I can build up to the proper color. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let me see what it looked like before and after. Alright, and that's it. Go over to full screen here. There we go. And that is it. Alright guys, I will see you all next week.